Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I have a little ship with me. So most of these items are my weekend sales, and then there are just a few I sprinkled in from this morning, which is Monday. I believe it's the 5th of May. So yeah, let's just jump right in. First thing to sell were these men's, I believe they are men's chacos. Sandals are a really great item to sell in the summertime. I think a lot of people look for them, and honestly, chacos is so expensive. I think I went to DSW like a couple months ago just to look for like a new pair of shoes, and I was like shocked on how expensive like chacos are. They were over $100 for sandals. So if you come across them, I would consider picking them up or looking up the sell-through rate. I did pick these up in the winter time, so they kind of sat. I listed them on November 26th, and they did sell on, May 2nd for $30 on Depop. My cost of goods was $3 at the regular thrift store, so I did profit around $25. So for me, I'm definitely going to pick that up again. That to me is not that long. You know, I'm okay 6 to 7 months. Anything over a year for me is considered, I would consider it a little bit long, and it wouldn't be something that would be on my radar. All right, so our next sale, I just recently picked this up at my regular thrift store. Now this brand is actually becoming one of my favorite brands to pick up because it sells so quickly for me. And this is Quince. This is a midi, like 100% linen, like maxi to midi dress. It's this really pretty, like minimalistic, like tan color. So I definitely think the color really helped it too. It could also be like a brown color, super pretty, but I sourced this at a regular thrift store. So I listed this April 22nd and it sold on May 5th. So extremely, extremely fast. I love Quince. Some of their pieces can retail for high, but it just has a really great following. So even if they don't, retail high, a lot of people in the secondhand market are actually looking for Quince. So if you do come across the brand, I would consider picking it up. It sold for, $41.64 plus shipping on eBay. My cost of goods was around $3 and I did profit around $32. So yeah, that is an excellent return to me. Anything that I pay like a little up for, if I can profit anywhere over $25 from a regular thrift store, I consider that a win, and that to me is a good indication of picking up the item. So next thing to sell, this is a great brand to be on the lookout for. These are a pair of Vuori shorts, and I did get these at the bins. I think nobody saw them because they have a tiny little Vuori tag on the back and a tiny Vuori tag on the inside. So these are some athletic shorts for men, and honestly this took less than a month. It was listed April 9th and it sold on May 4th. So I really love Vuori. Anytime I see it, I will pick it up like 99% of the time. A couple weeks ago, I actually found a Vuori jacket for myself, and I was gonna sell it, but when I got home and I tried it on, which is something I should not do because I am trying to resell these, but when I got home and I tried it on, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna sell this. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite jackets I wear. It's just a regular black zip-up jacket, lightweight, and it's like perfect. It's literally the perfect jacket. But anyways, Vuori, be on the lookout for it. It's a great, great brand for both men and women. So this sold for $31.19 plus shipping on eBay. The cost of goods was $1.96 because I found it at the bins, and I did profit around $25. So yeah, I I think all year round Vuori sells. So yes, we are in kind of the prime time for athletic wear, but if you find it in the winter time, anytime, I would pick it up. It's a fantastic brand, and honestly, it sells way, way better than Lululemon for me. And I've even kind of slowed down with Lululemon because it's just kind of sitting for me. So next thing to sell, this actually came in today, and I was so grateful. This was probably the best sale I've had in a while. This is called Naked Cashmere, and if you've never heard of this brand, they make very luxury sweaters and just luxury cashmere pieces. And this is kind of like an oversized cashmere ribbed sweater. And yes, I'm still selling sweaters right now, so, you know, I think it's an indication to still pick them up. But I listed this on January 27th, and it sold today, which was May 5th. I sourced this at my local thrift store, so I paid around $7 for it. It sold for $90 on Poshmark, and I did profit $64. So super, super happy with that. And that's just an indication for you guys too. Like, I think it's okay to pay up for certain items, especially something of this quality and this niceness, this luxurious, I guess you could say. So I still would look in the sweater section. I think you can find some gems still. I think a lot of people are kind of on the let's just get dresses and summery stuff, but hey, you know, if people are not checking that section, you best believe I'm gonna check it, and that's usually when I find the best items, because people are going through their inventory or their closets and they're getting rid of stuff. I don't know why somebody would get rid of something that nice, but they are, and you can find some really, really nice jackets. I think that, like I was saying before, is why I found the Vuori jacket, is because people are just getting rid of stuff and they're thinking of summer, so they're just kind of getting rid of it and starting fresh. So really happy about that sale. Super, super grateful. Next sale, this was a style-based pickup, and whoops, I'll put that down here. I have been sitting on this for a little bit of time, but again, I don't think it's considerably long. But this is a vintage like sweater. It has lighthouses all around it. So it's like Sand Island Lighthouse, Old Point, just a lot of historical lighthouses, I guess. Super cute. I thought very 90s, and anything with a novelty print tends to perform pretty well for me. This does have a little discoloration around the collar and a little bit of wear that I notated, but for vintage stuff, that really doesn't deter me away from still picking it up. So I listed this on September 26th, and this sold on May 4th for $30 on Poshmark. So I paid $1.80 at the bins for it, and I still profit around $22. So me personally, I'd still pick that up. I think, you know, it sat for a little bit, needing the right buyer, but I still think it did pretty well. All right, so next sale also took too long. It will not be a brand that I pick up again, so I'll explain why. So this is called Monsieur, I don't know, I think it's French, to be honest with you, but I really picked it up because of the style of it. Super cute, very minimalistic. It is 100% linen, like a little gray midi dress. But this sold on eBay. It took over a year to sell, and it sold for $24.28. My cost of goods was $1.40 because I got it at at my bins, and my profit was around $19. So while I don't think that's bad for profit-wise, again, like I was saying, this is a item I will not pick up again. Linen can be really great, but I think sometimes like you really just gotta vet the piece. And you really just still got to check comps. You know, just because it's linen doesn't mean that it's gonna automatically sell. This was a smaller size, so that also too could have hindered it, as well as just the style might have been a little outdated. Has a little bit of pleating in the front. Now, if this style was more of a relaxed fit, extra large to 1X, same brand, same color, I think that it would have sold a lot faster. So just factoring those things in, it's not to say that it wouldn't have still sold, but to me, just because something has one factor going for it does not mean that I should pick it up. Which that, in my personal opinion, only had like one factor, so I could have been better about that, but that's okay. I think reselling, we all learn, and it's just kind of how it goes, you know. If you pick up something that doesn't sell as fast or for as much, you just learn by it. It's not really, you know, it's not, in my opinion, it's not really a huge deal as long as you're not making the same mistakes over and over, you know. If you're learning, that's all you really have to do with reselling. Next item to sell, this was a Coldwater Creek, and this also I think took a little too long because of the size, to be honest with you. But it's this really beautiful like embroidered blouse. You can see it kind of gives me a little bit of Johnny Was vibes, if I'm being honest with you, which is why I picked it up. But again, size medium, really cute lace like detail on it. So super cute item. What's that string coming in there? So again, at my bins, I listed this on September 9th, or September 2nd, sorry. And it sold May 2nd. Sold for $22 on Poshmark. I paid around $1.28 for it, so I profit around $14. So to me, I would still pick up this item, just next time it needs to be a larger size. And that's kind of what I've noticed with Coldwater Creek. It can still do well, but you really, like for me personally, the ones that do the best are the larger sizes or just the plus sizes, you know, dresses, things like that from the brand. Okay, so next item to sell, which is a very interesting item, which is this very long vintage trench coat, and this is by Eddie Bauer. Now, when I originally picked up this item, I did not know if it was gonna be a good pickup. And honestly, trench coats, sometimes for me, they don't always sell the best, but when I checked comps, they were still performing pretty decent. And for this, it has a wool liner, so it's nylon on the outside and wool, and it's made in the US. So I did pick this up at the bins, and honestly, I kind of regretted it when I got home because I was like, why did I pick this up? Like, this item is so bulky and it's not going to sell very fast. But it actually was listed on January 22nd and it sold May 3rd. So that just goes to show you, like I was saying earlier, items are still selling well, and folding skills are really bad with this, but in general, my folding skills are not the best. So please don't judge. And it sold for $48.79 plus ship on eBay. So let's see if I can push these together. Cost of goods was $1.68 and I still profited $40. So to me, that is still a great pickup. And that did not take long at all. So would I pick this up again? Yes, I just probably would not pick it up until it was a little bit closer, just because this item is pretty bulky. I did hang this item up so it wouldn't take any space, but yeah, I don't know if it's gonna fit in this one. I usually have really large poly mailers, but let's see if I can fit it in this size, which is I think 12 by 15, which I think it will, yeah, I think it will. But anything that's super bulky, I like to do the really large ones. I think they're by 15 by 19 or something like that. but they are kind of lifesavers because I don't like to put things in boxes a lot of times because they are more expensive. So if I can get it in a poly mailer, that's kind of my go-to, just for me personally. Next thing to sell, here's another sweater, and I know so many resellers talk about this brand and how they don't like picking it up, but I'm here, like, honestly, I still pick up this brand and I will continue to as long as it performs well for me. So, and that's why I say, you know, just because one thing doesn't sell for one person doesn't mean that it won't sell for you. So yes, what sold videos are great, but ultimately you just kind of have to figure out what's going to sell for you, and that's kind of what I've done. Okay. So this is a Zara cardigan, absolutely adorable. It's kind of like patchwork. It's got just so much cute stuff going for it, florals, and I believe this was actually a blogger favorite, but I'll be honest with you, I picked it up because of its style. I thought it was really cute, and cardigan, size medium, oversized, I knew it would sell. So yeah, I picked it up at the bins for $1.51. It sold for $44 on Poshmark, and I did profit $31. So that's why I say, like, I'm gonna pick up Zara because it still sells for me. Certain pieces. You know, I know that Zara makes a lot of stuff, and it's kind of, I would kind of consider it a little bit fast fashion, a little bit more upscale fast fashion. Yes, I'm using a lot of tape, I know, sorry, but I think some of their pieces have blogger favorites, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, or just those, my cat has zoomies, just those pieces that a lot of people are actively looking for. So again, this was listed April 2nd and it sold May 2nd. So literally a month. So yeah, there are definitely pieces to every brand, like I was saying before, that, you know, they don't sell as well. But that's kind of like, if you can figure out what sells from the brands and you can find it, you know, and also this is going to be dependent, cats running around, this is going to be dependent on what sells for your store. You know, just because one thing sells for me, sorry about that, just because one thing sells for me doesn't mean that it will always sell. You know, just, you know, I always say, like, just take everything with a grain of salt for reselling. You know, I don't think there's, like I say in all my videos, there's not a one size fits all for reselling. So yeah, so this next item took a little bit longer than usual, but still in that 6-month period. It was listed January 21st and it sold May 4th. So this is Miles. This is a really cute, I don't know, artsy cardigan. This brand does pretty well for me. It's not always a fast seller, but if you can find it in plus size, then it tends to do a little bit better. But hey, I'm okay with 6 months, honestly, for me. I did get this at the bins for $1.68. It sold for $30, and my profit was around 20 bucks. So I'm fine with that. I like $20 flips. I'll take $20 flips all day long. So, and I'm grateful for any sale that I get. So, but if it's a $20 flip, it's like, checks all the boxes for me in my head. So, next thing to sell, second to last, this is a Faharte, I think, Faharte. I don't know. Please don't come for me. I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's the item. So this is a midi, like, gauzy kind of dress, very minimalistic. As you can see, the styles that really perform well are kind of those relaxed fits that I notice. Very minimalistic style, maybe beachy. You could wear this, you know, in a vacation or anything like that, or just out on the town. But this was listed on March 5th and sold May 2nd. So a little over 2 months, around 2 months, I would say. Sold on eBay for $36.79 plus shipping. So whenever I say plus shipping, that just means that the buyer has also paid shipping. So that is the price it sold, but there is an additional cost for shipping, if that makes sense. And I do all calculated shipping. That's just kind of what works for me in my business. Could I do flat rate? Sure, but I just don't do it. So I paid $6 at my local thrift store for this, and I profit $25. So to me, that's excellent. Sold really quick, and that $25 profit. So that's an indication. And honestly, this item, I took a kind of chance on it because I was like, the sell-through rate wasn't amazing on it, but it had a lot of sellable factors. It was a good price at the thrift store. It was a more substantial piece as a dress is, and it just, you know, had a great fabric content. I think it was cotton. So all those led me to just picking it up. And that's kind of another point to help you guys is, am I perfect with sell-through rate? Absolutely not. I like to also factor stacking. So most of the time, I really do try to focus on 50% sell-through rate just because that's going to move inventory a lot faster. Do I pick up stuff that isn't always on the ballpark for 50%? Yeah, I do. And with that, I try to make sure that there's factors for it. So, last thing to sell. Now, I kind of dragged my feet because I was not motivated to list this item, and I'm kind of kicking myself because it sold so fast within like 2 days. This is called Patachouille from Nature. This is a vintage tag for sure, so I don't know if there's anything behind this tag, but this is 100% cotton. In this, I used the tag Broomstick and I think Floral Boho Festival, and this is an absolutely gorgeous, kind of has a gauzy feel to it as well, floral maxi dress. And I think Broomstick, that you know, has little bells. Broomstick keyword really helps to sell skirts, and especially, you know, as long as it's that style. But Broomstick, if you guys need some more keywords, is a great keyword to be kind of on the lookout for or to use. So it sold on eBay for $32 plus shipping. I paid $1.34 at the bins for this, and I did profit $27. So I like skirts. I'm kind of in between. So I really like maxi to midi skirts or very mini, like Y2K style skirts. I don't really pick up pencil skirts. They just don't sell for me. So it has to be those two categories, which I notice sell the best for me personally. Thanks so much for packing orders with me. Some fast sales, flops, and all the in-between. If you liked it, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.